Just as tough and solid as the AK-47, this handgun was created by John Browning for the Colt Company, in 1911, as a sidearm for American troopers. It promptly substantiated itself a world mixer in WWI, again in World War II, and has been a foundation of the American military from that point onward. Be that as it may, its most noteworthy accomplishment has been the simplicity with which even undeveloped regular folks can fire it precisely, maintain it in working control, and guard themselves capably with it. 7+1 rounds of fat, man-halting force ideal for short proximity self-preservation. Warriors have hauled it through bogs in the Pacific theater of World War II, with their fingers on the trigger, at that point whipped it out of the sludge and terminated every one of the 8 adjusts precisely. Sufficiently exact to carry out the responsibility out to around 400 yards, which is all anybody as a rule needs in a fight, the AK-47 is a definitive zenith in rough unwavering quality. It won't separate enduring an onslaught except if something calamitous transpires. You can drive a tank over it, toss it against a divider, lower it in sand, water, mud, and each time it will go directly on terminating when you pull the trigger. I know a Vietnam veteran who was strolling through triple overhang wilderness one day in 1966, ran over a deserted AK-47, and couldn't recover the jolt to slide. It was excessively consumed from the downpour and climate. The wood was spoiling off. Be that as it may, he put it butt first on the ground, stepped the activity open, and it loaded a bullet, which he discharged precisely at a tree 50 yards away. He stepped the activity open once more, and it loaded another bullet, which he discharged precisely. The granddaddy of all switch activity guns. Benjamin Tyler Henry concocted it in 1860, however neither the Union nor Confederacy needed a lot to do with it, as they were apprehensive their fighters would fire too rapidly and squander ammo. In the event that I may utilize a threadbare joke, military insight. Thank you. It terminated a progressive, independent cartridge in 44 bore, with 568 foot-pounds of halting force, all that could possibly be needed to put a man down. It held 16 adjusts in a cylinder magazine, and a decent man could discharge 28 rounds for every moment, so far superior to 3 every moment with a gag-stacking percussion top gun, that if either side had received the rifle as standard for infantry, that side would surely have won. The symbol of the Old West, the Colt .45 gun was designed in 1873 and quickly got on as uncommonly precise at short proximity, contrasted with the ball and top transformations mainstream at that point. Its gauge was adequate to flip a charging man in reverse off his feet. It very well may be utilized today to chase deer and wild bears. The bigger powder burdens can bring down wild bears. It's as renowned as the firearm of Wyatt Earp, among other Old West famous people. The jolt activity had been kicking around since in any event 1824, when Paul Mauser & Co. licensed the 1893 form in 7 mm. It has become the benchmark, on which all jolt activity rifles are based, and against which all are thought about. There are 3 essential jolt activity frameworks, the Lee-Enfield, the Mauser, and the Mosin-Nagant. Of the 3, the Mauser framework is by a long shot the most across the board, the most dependable, and the most fight-demonstrated rifle instrument the world has ever observed. The 1893 Mauser was the first, and unique models despite everything work flawlessly. Put on the map by Dirty Harry in 1971, it was created in 1955, is still idea of as one of the most impressive handguns on the planet, however it has been obscured by the .500 Magnum, the Desert Eagle .50 AE, the .454 Casual and a couple of others. Yet, what those other handguns need is controllability and relatively minimal effort. The .44 Magnum will even now run you in any event $800 new, which is a ton for a pistol, yet modest contrasted with different Magnums. You won't break your wrist shooting it, but it can drop Cape buffaloes and polar bears. On the off chance that I might be managed one terrible joke, it will fill your heart with joy. The Browning machine gun is loaded for the most remarkable shoulder shot cartridge to date. It is planned in light of a certain something, power will in general degenerate, total force is kinda sweet. The 800 grain powder load has 14,895 foot-pounds of vitality at the gag, which is sufficient to get a full metal jacketed round through 3 moving toward vehicles. It has destroyed helicopters with 1 round. Presently envision a belt took care of automatic rifle regurgitating a blind of these rounds at you at 1,200 rounds for every moment. Unique Sabo rounds can go clean through tanks. What might be compared to the German Mauser has 1 trump on it, a 10-round magazine, contrasted with 8. The British embraced it into the military in 1895 and utilized it solely until 1957. Officers were bored until they could play out the distraught moment, terminating 30 adjusts in 60 seconds and hitting 30 targets. This required reloading twice, and working the jolt to and fro in under a large portion of a second. The rifle is precise to 1,000 yards with open sights, and served in India, the Boer War, both World Wars, and numerous others. The Glock is a definitive in current dependability. You can pour sand down the barrel and it will shoot. It will shoot submerged. It is regularly utilized in 9mm, however is chambered for .40 SIG and .45 ACP among others. It is the standard law implementation sidearm today and will keep on being for quite a while. It never sticks, is waterproof, for the most part plastic. Hitler's buzzsaw, created in 1942, is notorious around the globe as the weapon utilized at Omaha Beach to cut Americans down, however it was utilized in Russia to substantially more merciless impact. It discharged 1,200 rounds of 8mm rifle ammo every moment, which is adequate to slice a man down the middle. It was air-cooled, and could liquefy its barrel whenever terminated relentless for 5 minutes. That is the reason the Germans had a few barrel nearby, and could change to another one in just 60 seconds. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.